everyone. Welcome to session 4, Joy of the Spirit, day 68. My name is Julia, and I'm so happy to be joining you today. Let me just get one thing, and I am ready to enjoy the whole session with you. Okay, great. So today will be foot soaking, and if you haven't had a chance to prepare your bucket, please do so right now. And you can fill it with salt and water. That way we're all ready to go. If you are new or have missed any class, we're super happy you're joining us today. And of course, we have recordings of all the previous sessions, so you can watch those, and we'll have one-on-one help after the session in the breakout rooms. And if you have any desire to change your mentor or request a mentor, you can also do so at the end of the session. So for this 21 days, our ongoing goal is to sustain longer periods of silence. I think that's everybody's goal who meditates. So hopefully we'll have a chance to do that together tonight. And of course, really experiencing the transforming power of love and how the meditation allows this energy to rise and flow, and just again, how that love spreads and shares. So as we go through the meditation, we'll see how we can learn a bit more about the Hamsa Chakra, what it is, and then how it naturally goes towards the silence and this power of love. So for today, we're going to have a foot soak, and then we'll listen to a speech of Shri Mataji, and then we'll continue the guided meditation with our friend Poornima, who will do music along with the meditation, and then we'll have our presenter sharing. So hi, Poornima. Nice to see you. Maybe you can share a little bit about yourself, and then I will do the same.
Sure. Nice to see you too. I'm Poornima. I'm from Boston, Massachusetts. Some of you might have seen me on here a few months back. And what else should I share about myself?
Maybe something you did interesting the last week or so.
Ooh. Um, well, last week I was in Kanajahari, New York, which many of you may be aware of is a Sahaja Yoga meditation center. And I got to spend just days in the beautiful nature, foot soaking and doing all the Sahaj treatments and blissing out. So I'm very relaxed from that.
Perfect for today's meditation. You can
Yeah.
take us right into that space that you enjoy. That sounds wonderful. So for those of you who don't know, I didn't introduce myself. Shame on me. My name's Julia. I'm living in Seattle, Washington. And something that was interesting that happened to me this past week. I should be prepared if I ask these questions, shouldn't I? It is my birthday coming up tomorrow.
Yay!
So I'm really excited to meditate with all of you and hopefully get into that state of silence and joy. And what a good way to end the year. So, okay. Well, Poornima, you'll be joining us in a bit,
Yeah.
and we'll carry on with our foot soak. So for those of you who have never heard of the Hamsa Chakra before, we'll just take a few minutes to share a little bit about what is the Hamsa Chakra, where is it, and why is it important, before we enjoy our foot soak together. So the Hamsa Chakra is actually located right here, sort of where the top of the nose and right between the eyebrows. It's sort of the place where you can say it's the beginning of where the sinus passages are. And so what's really special about this chakra in particular is it's related to the fifth energy center, the Vishuddhi, and it helps to control the capacity of like the brain in reality. So when this energy rises, and we've heard of the left channel and the right channel before. So when these channels come, they actually come to this Hamsa Chakra, and it allows us to know what is the true meaning of discretion. What is the truth? What is the difference between right? What is the difference between wrong? And a lot of times, we're using our mind to figure out what should I do in each situation. Sometimes we use our emotions. Sometimes we use just what we've learned in the past. Or if we speak to, ask our friends or family for their guidance or suggestions. So all of these are sort of different ways where we approach the world. But when we have this Hamsa Chakra enlightened, that is really the indicator, which allows us to know in, you could say, a spontaneous or Sahaj way, what is pleasing, what is right, what is wrong, what is going to help us to grow in our ascent. And so in the meditation, we can develop this power, this discretion. And as we develop it in our meditation, it allows us to become more intuitive, more innate. And with this, we can pair our intelligence with our emotional intelligence, with our intuition, so that without planning, without thinking, we can spontaneously say the right thing when we need to, or we just know in our own being, what is the right thing to do? What should I do in the situation? And in the meditation, we'll actually have a chance to use this power of discretion to help grow and strengthen all of the chakras, so that when we help to clear the Hamsa chakra, we can even go further into that intuition or discretion. So let's all begin. Hopefully everyone has had a chance to get their foot soaks. So we can take off our socks or roll up our pants. And before we start our meditation, let's all just take a moment to sit with our hands on our lap, and let's close our eyes. And let's take a few slow, deep breaths, allowing all the activity of the day to fade away. If we've had any stresses or any difficulties, we just let them go. And we allow ourselves to enjoy this moment of silence together. So let's begin by raising our Kundalini and giving ourselves a bandhan. And let's do this slowly with good attention, so that we can feel this energy rising inside. Great. So before we begin our foot soak, let's take a moment to bring our attention inside and just see, in this moment, how am I doing? If there's any pressures, any distracting thoughts, just watching and seeing, how am I doing in this moment? So let's open our eyes and let's give the bandhan or the vibrations to the foot soak, allowing this energy to transform the elements of the salt and the water so that it has a positive charge. And we can put our feet in our foot soak. So putting both hands towards the earth, again, closing our eyes. Let's relax into the meditation. And ask this foot soak water to please absorb any imbalances keeping me from my meditation. Remove any imbalances, any struggles that keep me from my balance, from my peace, from my joy. We can bring our hands back onto our lap with the palms facing up. And let's keep our attention on the first energy center, the Muladhara Chakra. And there's this very special relationship between the Muladhara Chakra and the Hamsa Chakra. The Muladhara, we know, allows us to have true wisdom. So in nourishing our Muladhara, in nourishing this innate wisdom, we can become more discreet. We can become more intuitive. So let's use our power of desire and say silently inside together, please strengthen my wisdom. Please strengthen my wisdom so that I can be discreet. Please give me the wisdom to know the difference between right and wrong, truth and untruth. And give a bandhan to the Muladhara Chakra at the base of the spine. And offer any of this heat to our foot soak water. Bringing our right hand and our attention on the second energy center, the Swadhisthana, right underneath the navel. We ask inside for this Kundalini energy to strengthen our Swadhisthana and to allow us to be completely spontaneous. To allow our attention to be light and free. To take away any lethargy or tiredness from our mental fatigue. And to give us the true creativity and intuition of our Swadhisthana. We can give this center a bandhan, rotating our hand in a clockwise direction, allowing this energy to nourish any imbalances in our Swadhisthana. And then shaking off our hand towards the Futsuk. Bringing our hand to the Nabi Chakra, the third energy center at the stomach. Again, we'll take a slow, deep breath in, hold it for a moment, and breathe out. Allowing our breath to slow down at a relaxed pace, and allowing the tension of the day to again go into the Futsuk. Here we ask this Mother Kundalini, please give me the discretion to know the truth. Give me the discretion so that I can be my own master, my own teacher. As we again give the bandhan to the Nabi Chakra, we can say again silently inside, please give me the discretion so that I can be at peace. And we'll give this to the Futsuk, shaking off our hand. At the heart, we let go of all fears, all worries, all emotions that keep us from our spirit. And as we detach from these fears, from these worries, we ask Mother Kundalini, please give me the innate wisdom so that I can give unconditional love to all. Please give me the innate discretion so that I can be loving to all unconditionally. Let's shake off our hand. And we'll give vibrations of bandhan to the Vishuddhi Chakra at the throat. And here, as we learn to go deeper into this wisdom, this true discretion, we ask this Kundalini inside. Please help me to know when to speak the truth, when to remain silent, when to speak up and defend others, when to be a witness and just watch. Please strengthen my innate intuition. And help me to communicate in a way that's pleasing to my spirit. We can shake off our hand. And to help reduce any pressure that we feel at the Hamsa Chakra, we can either massage the Hamsa Chakra a little bit with our pointer finger on the right-hand side. Or sometimes what I like to do, especially when I have a sinus pressure or a migraine, is I'll take these three fingers, the thumb, the pointer, and the middle finger, and what I'll do is pinch the Hamsa like this. Again, not so tight that it's painful, but just to relieve any pressure. We can gently massage or pinch the Hamsa Chakra, keeping our eyes closed. And here we ask Mother Kundalini to please enlighten our Hamsa Chakra so that we can become discreet beings, so that we can become more intuitive, to know what is pleasing for ourselves and others, to know what is not pleasing for ourselves. Mother Kundalini, please give us the wisdom of our Hamsa Chakra, so that we can be truly discreet. We can shake off our hand. And another way to clear the Hamsa Chakra is to say a mantra to Shri Hamsa Chakra Swamini. So as we can see on the slide, we can say together the mantra for the Hamsa Chakra. And for those of you who may not be as familiar with mantras, we'll say it together, and I'll say the words just once, and then we'll say it together. So Om Tvameva Sakshat, Shri Hamsa Chakra Swamini Sakshat, Shri Adi Shakti Mataji, Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. So we can either give a bandhan to the Hamsa, or again, we can press it nicely. And let's now say the mantra together. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Hamsa Chakra Swamini Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo. Return our hand back onto our lap. Staying in this state of silence. allowing the attention to rise to the sixth energy center, the Sahaja Chakra at the forehead. And here we can massage the Sahaja Chakra a little bit. And again, we'll go asking this Kundalini, Mother Kundalini, please help us go beyond our thoughts, beyond our reactions, and allow us to know what is reality, what is truth, what is silence. Taking our right hand to the base of the spine, let's raise the Kundalini up through the center channel a few times, bringing our attention up to the Sahasrara. And massaging the Sahasrara gently. And we'll thank the Kundalini. Thank you, Mother Kundalini, for allowing us to foot soak together and to help us enjoy our meditation and to help us feel the silence of our spirit. Let's bring our hand back down and take a moment to just see again, how am I doing inside? And when we're ready, we can slowly open our eyes and let's continue to still be in a meditative state as we rinse our feet. We'll set aside the bucket for later. And as we stay in this state of meditation, we can watch a speech by Shri Mataji. And after the speech, we will enjoy some live music as Poornima leads us in a lovely meditation. So we'll rinse off our feet now and we can stay in meditation as we watch the speech by Shri Mataji.
We should understand and grow into a personality that is American. But what one finds is all the instruments of destruction are created. Like small children, you find children and children. Small children, you'll find them, they fight each other. All right, fights is all right. But not only that, they kill their parents, they kill their grandparents. What's that going on? How is it happening? Where have we lost the innocence? What's gone wrong? Where are we mistaken? We have to just turn around. If you really feel you are Americans, you have to save this country. It's in great danger of complete destruction. You do not realize what you are facing. It's not the AIDS I'm so much worried about, or it's not the earthquake which is hanging on them. It is complete losing of your being and becoming matter. When you have robots, so you will become same. And you will destroy yourself in that way. It's a very, very serious matter which is not yet seen through your eyes, or you do not see it. You must really be praying that, oh God, please save this country. Should be really asking for nothing else but save this great country, a part and parcel of the Virat. And the Virata rules in the Vishuddhi. It's such a problem for me. Whole thing is so upside down. I have to start from America. And where do I go? I started from America. I came here, as I told you, talking to chairs. And still so many are just chairs. All the subtleties from the brain have gone away. Whatever advancement has been made has made them primitive. And after some time, they'll become like stones. They won't feel anything. They won't hear anything. They won't understand anything. They'll not grow anymore. Then what am I to do? This universe, which was created as the working of the Virat, will have to shift to some other style of universe, which is a very big shifting. So for all the Sahaja Yogis, it is necessary to understand the importance of their existence as Sahaja Yogis. They are Sahaja Yogis first and Americans later, but if they are Americans first, then they must work it out. It's not something sideways. You see, all right, there's a seminar, let's go for the seminar, good, then come back home, again just the same. You have to really meditate, work very hard. You are the people who are going to change this country and ultimately the whole of the universe. See, you have to understand it. It's not me. You have to see it and understand that your position is very important. In Sahaja Yoga, Americans have a very great position. Hamsa Chakra stands between the Vishuddhi and the Agya, as you can see clearly positioned like that. But from Vishuddhi, there are many nerves which pass through Hamsas and end up here. They don't all go to the brain. Or we can say that at this time, at this point, all our reactions, which are what you call reflex reactions, finish off. So, supposing now I get some dirty smell, I'll close my nose like that. Or if I can't hear, I'll just pull my ears like this. Or if I see something dirty, or if I see something jarring, my eyes will close automatically. If somebody tries to put a pin through me, immediately I'll spontaneously. It's all built in within my system and your system too, that you react with reflex action. Same thing may not happen to animals. Animals are different. Some animals have certain reflex actions, some have some reflex actions. But we are different, and our reflex actions, we are all practically just the same. There's not much individuality. There isn't much difference in our reflex actions. At the most, with conditioning, somebody might say, yeah, somebody might say, oh, somebody may say something. That's different. But the reflex actions are just the same. So up to the reflex action, we don't have to use discretion. Then starts our discretion part. As discretion starts when we are using these two nadis which meet here without going to the Agya. So when these two nadis meet here, what happens? We start seeing through our experiences. First would be a reflex action, automatic reflex action. The second is when, supposing a child, if you tell the child, now this is hot, don't put your hand there, he won't listen. Put the child. With the experience, he will develop reflex actions, the conditionings of it. So thus reflexes are built in within us. Also, they are built in within us with, we should say, with other conditionings like, you see, in a country, supposing there's racialism, or in a country like ours, there's a caste system, then person react according to what they have learned from childhood. All these conditionings could be of the present day when you are born. You could have been yourself born in last life in, say, Africa. Today you are born with a white skin, so you have started sort of calling that African, you have become. All these conditionings can be built into your Hamsa Chakra, which have come from your training of the mind. You can see the experiences of the mind, the experiences of the society, of your knowledge, of your education, the way you are conditioned can be built in here, in the Hamsa Chakra. And it reacts to things which has no meaning. If you hate, I hate someone. Why? Because that person wears a blue jean or something, or you can say a green shirt. Now this is built in your mind. Or sometimes this falling in love also comes from the same kind of a conditioning. Supposing you had met somebody who had, say, blue eyes and was kind to you. So you have fascination for a person who has blue eyes. There's no pure idea about beauty, there's no pure idea of happiness, there's no pure idea of aesthetics. All is conditioned. For some people this is beautiful, for somebody this is not beautiful. So this is the place where these interchanges take place between both the nadis. Tradition is very important. Tradition gives you the growth of the Hamsa Chakra. And then you go on discarding whatever is wrong out of that tradition. Then again you keep whatever is good. You give it to your children, to your children, to your children. So the discretion comes to a person who is traditionally built up better than a person who has no traditions. So what you call as the traditional habits of person gives you this Hamsa. And these habits are built better and better with trial and error methods. And that's how you develop it. Now for people who are Sahaja-yogis, it's much easier to imbibe them. Because if you see something, yes, that's wrong, you should not do it, finished. But you should be so clear-cut about it and should determine. It works out, your answer will be all right. But you tell them 10 times, still they'll do the same thing. Then that means that Hamsa is not willing to accept. But you must nourish it, you must look after it, you must, as I said, also the kajal is very good for Hamsa Chakra. All kajal and the oil in the nose, ears, is very good. All acts for that. Even, say, stalking other person, to talk discreetly, is to say something which doesn't lose its power of affecting that person. Like if you say something very harsh, then you should know how to neutralize it so that he retains that into himself. All these discretions only come also by tradition. When you find something that is futile, in a collective way, in a tradition, drops out. So the blessings of the tradition is great, but greater are the blessings of your spirit. And the blessings of the spirit are such that through your vibrations, immediately you know this is wrong. But you have to be honest about it and you just give up. You want to ascend, you want to improve your vibrations. So for that, whatever is needed, you will do.
Let's keep our hands open and eyes closed. Absorbing Shri Mataji's words without thinking about them, but just letting them settle into our being. The Vishuddhi Chakra, which includes the Hamsa, is one of our senses. And as Shri Mataji said, we need to have sensitivity that is pure. So we can take our right hand and squeeze a little bit on our left shoulder. Releasing any rigidity from our Vishuddhi. And then switching out for the right side of the Vishuddhi. And then gently taking our fingertips and just pressing on our face very lightly, which is part of our Vishuddhi Chakra. Seeing if there are any muscles or expressions, habits of expression that are stuck here. And if we find that there are, we can gently press there with the intention to give vibrations and to reawaken the sensitivity of our Vishuddhi. Finally, we can come again to the Hamsa, gently massaging in a clockwise circle with our pointer fingers. Inviting our discretion to awaken further. And letting our hands rest open in our laps. I'm going to share a little bit of music, a little bit of poetry that relates to the Hamsa, and of course, a period of silence. And I invite you to use your discretion as this flows along to see what you need. If you've been here a while, you may know how to give bandhans to different chakras, how to raise your kundalini. And I think we all know how to be still. So let this wash over you and use your discretion to attend to your meditative state in whatever way you need to. You choose whether to have eyes open or closed, whether to put your hand to a certain chakra or to keep it open on your lap. Always feeling for that softness, that fluidity, and that sensitivity, which is the quality of the Hamsa. One aspect of the Hamsa is also going with the flow. That lack of rigidity is responsiveness to whatever the situation brings. And as it happens, my electric piano isn't working. So I'll sing a little bit for you. They say the swan can glide across dark waters. They say the lotus will rise out of the mud. They say the earth will always love her daughters and teach the seeds to rise in little green spires. Oh, Mother, teach me to discern what will nourish and what will turn me away from you. They say the moon's not separate from her moonlight. They say each star will dance in its right place. They say each tree understands the height to which its topmost branch can reach. Oh, Mother, teach me to discern what will They say the gardener knows the wheat from the chaff. They say the sailor can read the clouds at dawn. They say the artist knows how to choose her colors, and that the saint knows how to go beyond. Oh, Mother, teach me to discern what will nourish and what will turn me away from you. Please guide my journey on the stepping stones you've laid, on the silver path you've made, on the petals that you've laid. To complete our meditation and sustain our meditation, we can raise our Kundalini and put Bandhan. I'll hand it back to Julia for some announcements.
Thank you, Poornima, for such a blissful meditation. The silence, and the beautiful vocal and piano. I feel very at peace, and I hope all of you do as well. So we'll have a few short announcements before Poornima joins us back for some sharing. So we hope you are able to continue joining us this session, The Joy of the Spirit, through August 8th. We'll continue to have these sessions every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday at 8:45 p.m. New York time. And for those of you who haven't had a chance to do so, you should try out the collective foot soak and meditations offered as a supplement on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Same time for 30 minutes, same Zoom link. They're really helpful before going to bed. So this Sunday on the 28th, we will continue this topic of discretion and go a little bit deeper on how to actually become discreet. So we hope you can make it. It should be a wonderful meditation together. So a few resources. Again, you can request a mentor by filling out the form or requesting one in the Zoom chat. Please use this QR code. You can have a lot of resources, whether it's daily messages or reminders, recordings of previous sessions, and the handouts. So we definitely have a large community that would love for you to join, whether it's WhatsApp or on the website. So please use those as required. If you are interested in asking a personal question, or if you'd like to cover anything that we've talked about so far, in the chat, you can write breakout room help, or you can do chat Q&A, or if you want for us to discuss something in the presenter sharing, you can write one directly to me. So lots of resources for you to use. So if anyone would like to stay in the main room, I'll invite Poornima back and we can chat about a few experiences with Sahaj in regards to this topic. And again, if you would like some individual time, feel free to join one of the breakout rooms. So, hi, Poornima.
Julia.
Definitely went with the flow. Well done.
It was so funny because it stopped working right when I was planning to play it underneath that song, and then started working again right after. So I was like, okay, this
right.
is
You handled it beautifully. And I think what you said was spot on about how you invited everyone to do what felt best and to have that freedom to just whatever felt intuitive, whatever felt discreet in their own meditation. So I think that was it. That was the essence of the Hamsa Chakra.
Yeah, and we need chances to practice, don't we? Because if we only put ourselves in situations where we know exactly what to do, then,
So
we may look like we have an excellent Hamsa.
that'd be nice.
Then the surprises come that you're like, okay,
right.
let's feel for what's the right thing to do in this moment.
Right.
So that happened to me without planning it.
It definitely happened and you handled it beautifully. It really took me into a deep silence, the whole thing. So success.
Have you ever had an experience like that, like a surprise, like a moment where you had to use your discretion where you were not expecting to need to?
Right. I think it happens regularly where you just sort of freeze for a second and you're like, what do I do? And then what I've learned is I bring my attention up to my Sahasrara,
Mm.
and that usually gives me that gap or that moment to just know, okay, how should I handle this? And I think the like most recent time that it happened, I was on the phone and I was talking to someone who was a little bit stressed out because we were traveling together and we didn't have quite a plan. So I was trying to figure out, how do I help this person, decide what to do because their flight had been canceled. And they were so upset. And I don't do well when people are upset. I sort of like either don't speak or maybe I'm too empathetic and that doesn't help anyone. So when they were really angry, I put my attention up on my Sahasrara and it went immediately past the, okay, let's not even acknowledge the anger. Let's go into problem solving mode. And so it was just like, let's take a step back, let's take a deep breath. And my normal like reaction would have been, oh, I'm so sorry, this is awful, this is terrible. And then a half hour passes of just talking about how awful things are. But instead it was more like, okay, what can we do? What flights are available? Are there other routes? How do we solve this? What about you, besides today?
It's so interesting what you're describing because like as you're describing it, I'm seeing like something that is like almost like permeable. Like when we're like rigid or we have like our policies or our defaults, we become like a rock, like Shri Mataji said. And so then things bounce off of us. But I just saw you like this nice ripple, like the pebbles of anger can drop into the pool, but you're like,
right, not gonna not today. Not gonna go there.
It doesn't always happen, but when it does, it's a really cool feeling.
Right. Sometimes we just take it and react to it immediately, and then they react to our reactions, and then it just explodes. So
It becomes like a squash court
exactly.
of the egos.
I was thinking about this also. I know I asked you for another one, but the word discreet is such an unusual word. Like it has so many different meanings. So I wondered, at least in terms of Sahaj, what does discreet or discretion mean to you?
Ah, yeah. It feels like, I don't know if this is true, like in etymologically, but it feels like a word that has the word care related to it. You know, there's a beautiful talk somewhere where Shri Mataji says that the essence of love is concern, which is like, it's such an unusual word. It's just, you have concern for the other person, And so I feel like to be discreet is also to have concern. And I feel actually that when we love, when we're in that state of unconditional love for ourselves and for others, it gives us a lot of discretion. It gives us a lot of understanding because love is very observant. Fear is very unobservant. It's just like, you just kind of like run screaming at the slightest provocation, and it could be entertaining to watch, but a very non-relaxing way to live.
Not the most balanced.
Right. And I think we sometimes confuse love and fear because sometimes we think like, oh, well, if I love someone, I'm afraid for them.
Yep.
Even in the situation you're describing of like, oh no, you feel so bad about the flight, like, oh, but that's not actually the same thing as what you actually did.
Fair, yeah.
Yeah.
Forward.
Yeah, because by going into that kind of infinite source of love, which is what we access in the Sahasrara, then you were able to be discreet and express your concern. and love is very creative also. So sometimes you might have to yell, or you might have to, you know,
Say something that wouldn't be nice.
yeah, that's a big one, especially for us ladies. I think we can confuse niceness with love, but niceness is just another default, you know, and that defaulting instead of discretion is it gets us stuck in these ruts.
Yeah, it has something to do with knowing the truth. So
Mm,
when I thought of the word discreet, when I initially thought of it, it wasn't actually in the way we use it in Sahaja Yoga. It was more like you have to be quiet, you have to be like unnoticed, you have to be uh, meek, something like that.
yeah.
But that's not actually the true power of discretion or being discreet. It's knowing, like you were saying, when to speak up, when to speak the truth. Maybe it's something that someone would react to and get upset with, but you want it for their well-being. If somebody, let's say, has a substance abuse problem, for example,
Mm,
or is in a relationship that is emotionally unstable,
mm,
you can care about somebody but not help them move forward to figure out how to actually move, like know innately what is pleasing for themselves, right, or yourself, and how to speak in a way that it isn't necessarily the truth. It is, how can I speak in a way that's pleasing to my spirit and pleasing to the other person's spirit? So it's definitely subtle. But as we go in the meditation, when the attention rises to the Sahasrara, the Kundalini helps to automatically improve our aspect or powers of discretion. So there
totally.
was a really nice question that we were asked about if we have any advice on how we should listen more to our intuition. And like, how do you actually know that the intuition is correct?
I would say practice and let yourself make mistakes. You know, like let yourself, you know, feel like do your best to feel and make a choice and
Mhm.
then try it a little bit fully, you know, like really commit. And then at least if it's a mistake, it's like you've made it fully. So you're like, okay, that was badly, you know? But I feel like if we're always walking on eggshells, we never find out if our discretion was correct or if that was our discretion talking or our habits talking or our ego talking
Our brain.
or our brain, right? But like over time, we become sensitive to our own discretion. I would say also like I feel that I'm in that state when it's not painted over with something.
What do you mean?
Like it's not kind of like painted over with an attitude or with an emotion or
Mhm.
with a like mm, kind of like an orientation, you know, in a certain there's no agenda, right?
Right.
So even if it's something that really affects my own life, like what job I should get, or if it's something very, you know, unrelated to me, I'm just looking, you know, which path to go down.
Mhm.
If I'm in that state of kind of lightness and neutrality, like a child, like that kind of let's play innocence, I guess,
Right, right.
then I feel like my discretion is operating. Whereas when it's a habit, there's this kind of like there's this clinging feeling to it, you know. And if it's my ego operating, it's sort of like, what's the problem? Like there's this kind of like so
Aggression.
what kind of there's an attitude to it, you know. So I think for whoever's asking that question, like if you can feel for that um like
Lightness.
lightness and kind of like blank slate, kind of not maybe blank slate, but innocence, freshness in your attention.
And I think another way to do it is if we if we have a problem that we're worried about, like you were saying, maybe something in a job or with our family, or trying to figure out what should I do next. It really is, you have all of these different factors bombarding you, right? This is someone else's emotions. This is what society expects of me. This is what I think I should do. This is what I want to do, but don't know how to do. And it's all these voices.
Yeah.
And they're sort of just, at some point, you get just overwhelmed. So to listen to the intuition, when we're in the state of meditation, we can touch on that silence and see in our heart truly, what is it that is my desire? Not from my brain, not from my expectations, not from my emotions, but just that voice inside. You can say your intuition, you can say your conscience a little bit. Like, what is it going to be pleasing to my spirit? And when we ask this in our meditation and we wait in that state of silence, sometimes we get an answer. And that is how you can start to trust. Okay, let me try that. And one other thing, which I really believe now, I didn't necessarily know earlier, is that, you know, in Sahaja Yoga, Shri Mataji says, you can choose right and wrong, but at the same time, you're supported. Even if you choose something that might be wrong, it's a learning opportunity. It's not something that's actually really wrong. It's how you can learn to know, okay, maybe I shouldn't do that next time. Maybe I'll try a different approach. So I would say none of us should feel guilty or bad about choosing something we think is wrong, because in reality, it's helping us to learn to listen to ourselves, to develop this capacity for discretion, for intuition, and for trusting our spirit. And that's really, again, it goes loving ourselves. So
I love that. Sometimes we can feel like, I don't know, we have to somehow be perfect or like get it right. And it's like, no, again, it goes back to the playfulness, innocence, lightness, like, and actually, we are like organic beings. We're not robots. In the talk, she was like, you know, you don't have to become like these robots that you're creating. Like, and she, in some talks, she describes how like when a tree is putting roots into the ground, how like if a root runs into a stone, you know, you could say like, oh, that root went the wrong way, you know, like whatever. And it just like wraps itself around the stone and like, cool, like now it's like extra sturdy and then it keeps going into the growing. So like we have, you know, when we run into an obstacle, like, oh, okay, it's, you know, how do we dance with that and learn from it and go to the next thing?
That's so Sahaj. Just as we keep growing, as we have more experiences, as there's more things we have to learn. Again, how do we pick ourselves up, keep moving forward in a way that allows us to be true to ourselves, true to the spirit? So one of the other questions that we had was, how has Sahaja Yoga helped your discretionary ability to become either better or more yourself or more organic, more trusting?
That is a really interesting question for the two of us. I don't know if people know that we're like
we've been practicing
since like and we both were born to parents who were practicing Sahaja Yoga. We grew up, you know, going to kind of Jahari and meditating together as kids, and you know,
sort of like we've been trained to have this capacity since childhood.
Yes, but you know what is interesting is like I feel like I had a really strong sense of it when I was a child. And then there was a period of my life where I was like, I found it inconvenient to have such a strong sense of discretion because everyone around me seemed to be like up to all kinds of shenanigans without any problem. And so I kind of trained myself to be like, la, 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 la. Like when my intuition was operating, I wanted to fit in with the
Oh, yeah.
crowd a little bit, you know, all these kids who didn't, you know, meditation wasn't so much in fashion when we were teenagers, and you
I mean,
know,
it was alcohol and drugs were, relationships with all sorts of individuals, you name it.
even just the TV people would watch. I remember like watching people watch TV to be like, what do they think is what do they think is
Why are
funny?
they enjoying this? Yes.
So like talk about not listening to your own sense of thing, where I was like, this is dumb. Like I didn't like, but I was, you know, I wanted to fit in with them. So it's funny because whatever you ask yourself to do, yourself will do for you. So if you ask yourself to drown out your intuition,
Yeah.
it was operating for a while like that. And so I feel like I'm in this ongoing process of reconnecting,
Hmm.
you know, deeper and deeper to that intuition that I had as a child.
Yeah, I think we worry about, like you said, what others think of us, or if we should be doing something different, all the uncertainties of the future. And we make it really complicated, and we worry, and we don't take the time to listen to ourselves, to get into that state of silence and meditation, to trust ourselves. And we sometimes ask everybody else but ourselves
Yeah.
about what we should do. So like for me, for example, I'm a housewife, and I have this desire to work, but I also don't know what I should be doing, right? So
Mm.
should I be looking for a job? Should I do something fun and creative? Should I go back to school? And then there's the worries of, I haven't worked for so long. What if I can't do it? What if something else happens? And what if it's been too long? I can't get a job? Like, right? The mind just goes wild. And what I learned is, again, it goes back to we have to love ourselves. And Sahaja Yoga, it helped me realize that if we count our blessings, if we look at what we're grateful for in our life, it helps us go from being victims and of our own circumstances to give us back the power. So I can make a choice for what is going to be best for myself or my family, because I know that this Kundalini energy wants me to have the best support for a best life. And if I make a choice, like you were saying, and it doesn't work out, that's just a data point that, okay, maybe that wasn't the right situation. What else can I try? It doesn't have to stop me. So that's how I use this meditation in my daily life, to really trust in this meditation and my own innate intuition. And so, yeah, that's something from me.
That's beautiful. It's so interesting you mentioned that because I'm also in this interesting vortex of the job equation. I have like a variety of things I do, and, you know, turning up the volume on one and all of it. And one thing that I keep coming back to with Sahaja Yoga, which is so different from the society that we live in, is it's spontaneous and it's about being in the present. So we don't always have a 5-year plan or like a fully fleshed out, like I'll go to school and then I'll pursue this career and then I'll do this and I'll do that. Like we might have a sense of it, but sometimes we just have to play in the sandbox, like do one next thing,
Yep.
walk through one door, or like drive a different way home from work and explore this, you know, like we just have to be in that state of spontaneity. And then something that could arch across years may appear for us, you know. Some things are like that,
Yes.
but they're made up of these little moments that happen in the present. And so if we're brave enough to really live in the present the way we do when we meditate in the rest of our day and the rest of our life, I think we find ourselves much more adventurous, and those decisions happen without us agonizing over them, you know?
Yes, it's spontaneous. and it's fluid and it's supported. So is there any other questions that we've touched on a lot of different topics? Any final words of wisdom or things to share on Hamsa Chakra?
Oh, I know what I wanted to say.
Lee?
One of the symbols for the Hamsa Chakra is a swan. I just think this is really cool, so I wanted to share it with people because I enjoy when there's like a poetic image for something. And I guess according to mythology, swans have this quality that if you put like a bowl of milk and water mixed before them, they can drink the milk and leave the water. So they can take in
Good.
yeah,
Nourishing.
take in what nourishes them, and leave the thing that they don't need. So that's a symbol of the Hamsa Chakra. And I invite everyone watching to go into that swan-like mode of like, what is nourishing me? What is nourishing my spirit and my soul? And just drink that in and leave the rest.
Okay, that's the homework of the week. Until the next session, we can all be like swans.
Yes.
And take nice steps to just do things that are nourishing and pleasing to our spirit.
Gliding smoothly through our lives.
That sounds great. Well, thank you, Poornima, for joining us. We really enjoyed all of your music, your poetry, silence, and I think we will call it a night.
Yay, it was so nice to see you. I wish I could reach through and hug you, but
Same. To everyone who's joined us, we give you hugs. So
big hug to everybody.
yes. Thank you everyone for joining. We'll put on some music if you would like to continue meditating, or if you're in a breakout room, then please carry on. So hope to see you next on Sunday for going even deeper into the topic of being discreet. Have a great evening.
Good night, everyone.